Hello guys, how are you? Hope everyone is fine. So today we are here talking once again about Tottenham and talking once again while I'm driving back home. Is my favorite moment to record the video. So I'm happy to make the video, but I'm not very happy about the things that we will talk in this video, because unfortunately yesterday reality hit us back really hard once again. After two good wins, one against Brentford at home, arguably the worst team in the league in terms of away form, and then a good win against Slavia Prague, when you played against a team that had, of course, a lot less quality than you play a tough game, because Forest, let's remember, Nottingham Forest struggled a lot in the beginning of the season with Ange Postecoglou, and even before that with Nuno Espirito Santo. But since Sean Dyche has been appointed, they've been a little bit more solid, especially at home. So I was expecting quite a tough game, surely way tougher than the last two that we played. Was I expecting all the shit that I saw? I'm sorry for the language. All the bad things that I saw? No. Because I was deluded, as always. Deluded to think that we were gaining some confidence as a team. I was deluded to think that we were solving certain problems, playing the same players that played more or less in the two games that we won. In reality, the problems are way deeper than that, and we're gonna talk about this in this video, because let's go back to reality a little bit. Let's talk real about the problems of this team, and let's talk about what we can expect in the future. So in the end, 3-0 against Nottingham Forest. So what can you say about the game in general? Completely outplayed, not even close. We were not even close in anything, absolutely anything. Intensity, offensive football, defensive structure, nothing was working at all. I feel like we started maybe the first 20 minutes more or less on the same page of them. There was an even game in the beginning, but without looking dangerous ever, without really causing problems to Nottingham Forest, and giving Nottingham Forest more and more the confidence to build momentum, you know. And once the momentum was a little bit too much, we crumbled for the goal of the 1-0, and after that the game was completely on their side. So what can you say tactically? In my opinion, it wasn't a Thomas Frank fault. Like, he put on the pitch the right players, the players that have the most quality, arguably also the most offensive side that you can put, with Randall Colomani, Xavi Simons, Kudus, Richarlison, without Palhinha. So everyone is happy that Palhinha doesn't play. In the end, we understand that Palhinha is fucking important for us, and I'm sorry to say it, but Palhinha is important, because now we're gonna talk about this game, but it was clear that we lacked someone that could have recovered the ball. It was like it was like we looked like when we were under Ange Postecoglou, more or less, and that concerns me a lot. Not that I want to be negative about Ange Postecoglou. Is the fact about that when we were with Ange Postecoglou, we didn't have someone that could recover the ball consistently in the middle. And yesterday I had the same exact feeling. Like, Nottingham Forest was playing around us too easily. No one was there for the tackle, no one was there to win the ball and start maybe a counter-attack or a transition. There was nothing there really. Also defensively speaking, that usually we improved a little bit, especially in the beginning with Frank. But with the time going, with the less Palhinha is playing from the start, I'm starting to look again at those situations where we were really fragile in midfield defensively. And yesterday was another case, in my opinion. But so again, when we win, when we lose, when we do well, when we don't do too well, I don't feel like the manager is the main fault, especially Thomas Frank, that is here, that has been here since a few months. So I'm quite consistent with that. Might be boring, okay. I'm very consistent with that. I don't believe that the manager is the problem. I don't believe that the manager is the reason why we lost this game. So we can talk about the individuals. As you know, we love to talk about individuals. I'm sorry for the shaking, but the road, the time I'm right now is very bad, so there will be a little bit of shakes. I hope that it will not be too much of a problem for you. So, as I said, the thing that I love to talk about, as always, is individuals. So let's talk about the players, the one that have performed, the one that have been outplayed by their opposition. So starting from Vicario, I don't know anymore what to say even to Vicario. He's just not reliable as he was in the beginning, and it's been a little bit of time since he's very inconsistent with the type of performances. You can have a Guglielmo Vicario that give you a 10 out of 10 performance in the UCL and in tough moments, but then you also have a Guglielmo Vicario that doesn't give too much confidence, doesn't give too much security to the team in general with the ball, and also, especially in my opinion, at claiming crosses. Now let's talk about the first goal. Not Vicario fault. I don't care what people say. We will talk later about the performance of Archie Gray, but that was not a Vicario mistake. Maybe the pass from Vicario should have been less bobbly. Maybe yes, but it's not a problem. The pass was surely good enough to be played to the other centre-back. I have zero doubt about that. So I'm gonna try to move on from that mistake and move from the second goal. The second goal was surely Vicario fault, in my opinion. The cross from Hudson-Odoi was a very deep cross into the second post for sure. Hudson-Odoi wasn't trying to score from there. Vicario just judged that wrong, judged that completely wrong, went to claim the cross when he needed to wait for the cross in the second post, and he got he got caught in no man's land. And unfortunately that's a weakness of Vicario, always was. This season a little bit less maybe, but he's not very good at claiming crosses in general. And unfortunately the second goal was all on him for sure, and the third one was a very good shot from Sangaré. But in general I feel like also with his feet, I'm not talking about the first goal, but in general he's such a player that will put you in tough positions. He's not consistent enough, and I'm really losing patience with him. I'm gonna be honest, he's Italian like me. I love Italians playing for Tottenham, but it gets to a point, it gets to a point. Now, would I play Kinski instead of Vicario? No, I still believe that Vicario is a better keeper and more reliable than Kinski. But let's be real, we don't have an incredibly high level goalkeeping area at our club for sure. Then we talk about the two centre-backs. Don't want to talk too much about them. I don't feel like they had too many responsibilities. The first goal is a mistake from Archie Gray. The second goal is a mistake from Guglielmo Vicario. The third goal is a long shot from Sangaré. So I don't feel like they were particularly good. I still believe that Van de Ven with his feet is just too inconsistent even himself. Top player Van de Ven of course, but sometimes I feel frustrated watching him passing the ball. He should be more secure with that. On Kuti, I don't feel like I have nothing to say. He played a good game, even if we lost 3-0 against Fulham. I don't feel like Kuti Romero or even Van de Ven were too much at fault. Then you go on the left back, Spence back to his normal level, so absolutely not good enough with the ball, giving nothing, 1 against 1 inexistent. The only thing that he does is driving the ball forward, defensively not even that impressive anymore. Another mediocre player that we have on the pitch. He was also very angry about the substitution. He needs to shut up a little bit, in my opinion. He needs to work hard a little bit more and not always going to the managers, because one time was Conte, now is Frank. The next time, let's see what kind of manager will be the problem, and he is never the problem. So I'm a little bit pissed off by him, but usual, let's say. Pedro Porro, again, I'm pissed off by him also. I just feel like this season Pedro Porro has been very disappointing, very disappointing, even for someone that is a fan of him like him. I don't find myself anymore in awe, watching Porro. Now I'm a lot more critical about Porro, because I'm not seeing the elite technical level that I was seeing before, and on top of that I'm seeing still the same struggles defensively, physically, and in terms of off the ball in general. On the ball, his decision making has been bad this season. I'm not liking it. I don't like the way that he's trying to play the ball, that he's trying to connect with others. Too little of contribution up front, too little in terms of contribution of assist, too little of everything. A lot of long balls. I'm sure that is also a tactical stuff, but even the long balls are not always spot on, are not always the long balls that I expect from an elite player like Porro. So very disappointed by Pedro again. Then we have the two-man midfield, and Bentancur and Archie Gray. Didn't work at all, absolutely zero. Bentancur was not good, was not consistent technically. He made some bad passes in easy situations, but in general he was surely out of the two the best one on the pitch, I have no doubt, and he's still the one that needs to play more or less all the games, as much as we don't like Bentancur, because he's the only one that have a little bit of composure under pressure, a little bit of good touches sometimes. Then he's an average player even himself, in my opinion, so he will make mistakes in other parts of the game, but at least you can trust him in certain moments. But even yesterday he wasn't very good. What a surprise. Then you have Archie Gray. I want to talk about Archie Gray because he's a very tough thing to say. You know, it's Archie Gray, he's our youngster, everyone loves him, everyone wants him to be the greatest, everyone wants to protect him, everyone wants to blame others when he's at fault. Let's not get twisted. Archie Gray was the worst player on the pitch by far. Didn't like him at all. The same stuff that I said against Fulham. Didn't like him at all. Too shy on the ball, not taking any responsibilities with it, not dribbling with the ball, being way too easily dispossessed on the ball in terms of strength. He didn't recover the ball once. I rewatched the game today, rewatched the 90 minutes. He never won one duel. Aerial duel, ground duel, whatever you want. Didn't recover one time the ball. When he had the ball, didn't know what to do with it. Very shy with it. And on top of that, the first goal that killed completely a game that was open. And I'm not saying that it's his fault that we lost, because of course it's much deeper than that. But the first goal, that is the one that will change the course of the team, it was absolutely awful in that situation. If you watch back the goal, and on my Twitter page I've put a clip of the goal that we conceded, the first one. Archie Gray start with asking for the ball, and a lot of people on Twitter commented, oh, but Jaco, if he asks for the ball doesn't mean that he needs to receive it. No, I'm not saying that, but if you ask for the ball, surely you are aware of your surroundings, you know, because I can excuse someone maybe if you receive a ball that you wasn't expecting, a little bit out of nowhere. So yes, maybe you can take a bad touch, maybe you don't know what's going on around you. In that case, he actively asked for the ball, so he knew what's going on around him. He received the ball, a pass from Vicario, as we said before, a little bit wobbly, nothing too crazy, very easy to deal with perfect pitches like the Premier League ones, so no doubt that he could handle that. Instead of playing a first-time pass, classic first-time pass that you see 99% of the time in those situations to get the centre-back with space, he uncovered the ball, and that is a very bad mistake, guys. I'm sorry, that is a very bad mistake. You can't uncover the ball. You need to cover the ball. You need to shield the ball at least. And he went with the left foot, leaving the ball completely open for Sangaré, and not even going first time, taking an extra touch and being out of balance. An absolute disaster. And after that, instead of recovering the mistake, he made 1 second, with 1 second the hands on his head, you know, losing time, and then he reacted to it, and he just came short from intercepting the goal. So a lot of mistakes, a lot of rookie mistakes in that situation. And in general, this team relies too much on young players that are not ready. This is not the academy. This is not the academy. If you need to develop players that are absolutely not ready, you loan them. You put them in the academy. You don't play them week in, week out in the Premier League when 3 points are fundamental. And unfortunately for Gray, it's been Fulham. The last 3 Premier League games he played well, more or less. Yes, he played well against Brentford. He played bad, really bad against Fulham, and he was the worst player on the pitch against Nottingham Forest. So if the next game he doesn't start, I don't want to hear, oh, but why? No, that's why. Because football, first team football, is played by the performances. Performances so far in the Premier League from Gray in the 2 of the last 3 games have not been good enough. And I'm sorry to be that harsh, but I'm tired to find scapegoats when in the end we have players that are not ready to compete. Then we go up front 3 behind Richarlison. Let's start with Colomani, the most positive one. He tried stuff, he wasn't brilliant, but he was the only one that was creating something by himself, some transitions, some good moments that in the end came to nothing, because, I repeat, in the bad game in general, he was one of the best, but this wasn't a good performance from Randal Colomani. Let's not get twisted. I'm sure that he can get to a much higher level, but he was the less worse, let's say, the less worse. On the other side, we have Kudus. Very bad game from Kudus. Very bad game from Kudus. I repeat, this team in general, even the quality players like Colomani and Kudus, don't have depth. So with Champions League, with multiple competition, these players will be so exhausted that they won't perform consistently. And Kudus is the example of being exhausted. I've seen a player like Kudus that unfortunately doesn't shine in terms of decision making, doesn't shine in terms of IQ on the pitch. He shines in terms of physical part of the game, getting in the 1-against-1, being explosive, trying to get past his man. And if you lack in terms of individual brilliance and physical brilliance, you're not able to replicate that. And he's a very limited player if he's not on form physically. So I feel like yesterday was the example of it. He made 2 or 3 mistakes with the ball, that he could have passed the ball that he didn't. It took too long to release the ball. Things that we know from Kudus, and he didn't bring the positives that he always bring. So the 1-against-1 quality, the getting past your man, the creating, the constant creation when he's in certain areas. So bad game from Kudus. Basically, probably the worst game of Kudus at Tottenham, or surely up there. Then we have Xavi Simons. After the huge excitement that we had against Slavia Prague, especially, I feel like we came a little bit down to earth with him. Like, we need to find a middle ground, you know, because this guy is not bad, okay? I'm not saying that he's bad, because he's not bad. Clearly he's not. He clearly is a good player, but he's not a number 10. He's not a technical number 10. He's not a classic number 10. Yesterday I got very frustrated watching him. Very frustrated. He's too intense, Xavi Simons, too intense. He can't slow down games, he can't slow down himself. His touches are a lot of time bad. His decision making are not always spot on. His passes are a little bit careless and not very reliable. So one thing that he have is that insane energy and insane explosiveness when you need to play on the counter. That is brilliant, but he's not the right profile, in my opinion, to unlock a low block. Doesn't have enough technical abilities around the box in general, and his touches, his decision making is letting me down a lot. So I feel like Xavi Simons might be a little bit better on the wing, I think. A little bit better wide, because centrally I don't see him involved enough. Like he's, for example, against Slavia Prague, he was a lot involved, but he was moving differently. He was moving much faster than the Slavia Prague players. When you play in the Premier League, that everyone moves more or less at that pace. Like the other characteristic of him doesn't make him someone that makes the difference constantly. So I feel like he's someone that will make the difference if you put him in the right environment, perfect environment, and probably also playing him a little bit more wide. Maybe, I don't know, that's a suggestion. But he's not someone that will change the game. If a game goes bad, Xavi Simons will go bad with the game, because he's not able to slow down the game. And no one in this team is able to slow down the game. Not Bentancur, not Gray, not Xavi. No one is able to slow down the game. So once the opposition gets the momentum on us, gets the better of us in terms of intensity, we are absolutely done, and we don't react ever. And against Nottingham Forest was another example. So Xavi Simons, really bad yesterday. Didn't like it at all. Up front, Richarlison, I want to feel a little bit of sympathy for Richarlison. Didn't have one ball playable basically all game. I don't know what we can ask more about a limited player technically like Richarlison, but if we don't even give him the ball in the box, I feel like he's a little bit useless. So in general, a disaster. The changes, I don't even want to talk too much about the changes. Didn't change absolutely anything as always. The game was more or less over in the first 5 minutes of the second half. So yes, what can we say? Frank probably will lose his job, probably, and we're gonna talk about it on the channel if that happened. Will we improve if Frank leaves? Don't believe so. The players are limited, the squad is limited, the good players that you have, you run them to the ground and they are exhausted, so they won't improve and they won't perform. This team is a team that casually got into the UCL, but we are not a UCL team, and we are a team that this season needs to play UCL and the Premier League and the FA Cup. So good luck to all the managers that wants to take this job, because this is an impossible job. Absolutely impossible job. So even the next manager will be in the same position and we will have the same conversation in 6 months. So for me, still the same, still consistent. Give Thomas Frank time, give him the January transfer window. Let's get rid of players that are not useful, and let's bring much higher quality. That's the only way that we can improve. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. Hope you enjoyed the chat, and leave a comment if you want to say anything. I really appreciate comments. For me, comments are the most important thing. Not likes, not views, comments. I would love to have interaction even here, like we are having on Twitter from the one that are coming from there. So thank you so much, guys, and see you the next time. Have a good day.